Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Freud Wellness Podcast. And today's going to be a short little podcast, but what I want to talk about is a product, or let's rephrase. I want to talk about gut health, the poopy, the big P, and trying to look for ways that I can help you find tools and resources that you can do from the comfort of your own home. Because obviously, if you come into the clinic, we're talking about colonic hydrotherapy, which I think is super helpful, super supportive, and something you definitely need to come try. And for those who don't know what colonic hydrotherapy is, I like to frame it as a medical procedure. It's a very commonly asked question is, do I have to be sedated or, put under? And the answer is no. You do everything whilst awake. And what I will do is insert a device or piece of plastic tubing, so one size disposable, and I will use about 125 liters of highly purified, double filtrated water that removes all the fluoride, chemicals, any parasites from the water. So it's really, really highly purified. And through that procedure, we'll flush out all the things that are sitting in your colon. And if successful, we can even start triggering your intestine to start releasing any extra bits that are undigested, maybe stuck, maybe even some parasites up there. And on top, we do clean out the liver as well, so releasing all the toxins of the body. So obviously, the most obvious thing coming out the colon will be feces, but it is not just that I seem to clear out. I get the most common is gas, which results in the bloating that people experience. I see mucus, I see parasites, I see undigested food. The biggest, most common one I see is where people don't chew their mushrooms at all. So literally whole pieces of mushrooms come out. I can see lots of fiber. What else do I see? I can see excess skin of the lining of the intestine come out, so I can see if there's some issues with that. I can see bile come out as well, which is the release from the gallbladder, showing the toxin clearing from the liver. What else can I see? I can see different types of bacterial overgrowth, such as candida, and sometimes I've seen a couple of things that I don't even know how they got into the colon. So it's really a powerful way, because we keep up to 10 kilograms in our intestinal wall, so of buildup from our lifetime. So I always explain to people, when you think of the large intestine, which is approximately 1.8 meters long, it's not like a sausage you get in the shops where it's just sort of a straightforward filled sausage, but it actually has a lot of rivets or bends in it, and we frame them as pockets. So actually a lot of bacteria, mucus, build-up, fecal matter, undigested food, parasites can be hiding within those pockets. And as a result of that can get stuck throughout your lifetime and just basically keep rotting. And that's what causes a lot of the gas and bloating and irritation in the colon, or especially where people say, I've got a pain here for a longest period of time, and the doctors can't tell me what's wrong. And it's just actually, you're full of the poo. You're full of SHI, sugar, honey, ice, and tea. Right. But that's not the point of this podcast, right? I can go on about gut health because I absolutely am obsessed about gut health, and I promote it to everyone, because across all the medical systems that I study, I always say what they all say in common is, if you fix your gut, you fix your life. And so that's sort of where I focus a predominant amount of my work, attention, and understanding and dedication towards, because I've been able to treat a lot of problems just through treating gut health. So if you haven't focused on it, and I love the fact that it's becoming a lot more mainstream now, and not this hush-hush subject that we shouldn't talk about when it's something that people, literally everyone does it. Obviously, you should be doing it for at least twice a day. But if you're not, obviously, then you should be coming to me. But what I'm trying to do is provide some resources and tools, because colonic hydrotherapy, I always say as a baseline, you should be doing about 3 to 5 sessions in your initial visit, just to really maximize the benefits of it. But once your practitioner or / me will tell you that you're in the thumbs up, where you're out of the detox phase and you're into maintenance phase, then you need to sort of look at coming every 3 months for a colonic. So then I say, okay, if we want to keep your results long-term and sustained, because I'm a practitioner that's trying to empower you and help you and get you well, rather than just get money from you and just keep you circulating and unwell and dependent upon me, I'm trying to teach you things. So part of that education comes in with telling you about resources that can help you do in the comfort of your own home, that can support that maintenance. So obviously when people come back for their, let's call it routine checkup every 3 months, and I'm sort of working within the traditional Chinese medicine perspective of change in season, because every 3 months our body will need something new, we'll need to adapt our dietary requirements. And the most obvious thing is to explain that when we're, for example, I know we're coming out of winter, but if we're going into winter, and whilst in winter, it's really cold. So our body needs heavier, warmer kind of dishes, whereas in the summer, we're very hot. So we want light dishes. We want a lot more foods that have a lot more water. They're a lot more water dense, if you will. So then that's we're thinking salads and fruits and vegetables, because they're light and they contain a lot more water to support our heat levels, because we're hotter. Maybe not in the UK, but in South Africa, I can attest for, you're very hot, and all you can think about is just trying to cool your body down. So you're thinking a lot more cool beverages, and again, a lot more water dense foods. So for today's topic, on that long side note, I want to talk to you about a product called Diatomaceous Earth. And really what it is actually a mineral, a very rich mineral called silica. And I would say that silica is framed as one of the Earth's most abundant compounds, because it's composed of both silicone and oxygen, which comes from the Earth's crust. Now, in the body, obviously, we're talking about body here, it is found within the structural tissues like our bones, our skin, our teeth, our hair, our nails, our tendons, our blood vessels, our eyes, so basically everything. And it has the ability to form long molecules, and it interacts with both calcium and collagen to maintain the strength and the elasticity of these tissues. And now, obviously speaking, and I'm just now really referencing to gut health here. So a lot of the people that I treat, let's frame from middle age and up, and also pregnancy, the elasticity of the skin because of aging is becoming less. Collagen is dropping in the body. So obviously we mostly frame and see it in the face because of aging, fine lines and wrinkles. But I usually see this as well in the elasticity of the abdomen. So when I do a observation and through the consultation, and I check in and I touch the belly and I observe, one of the common things I observe is the tissue or the elasticity within the skin of the abdomen is very loose. And I have sort of concerns about that, because we need our organs to be sitting or placed in specific parts of our body, and our muscles in our abdomen are tending to hold that up, and so should the collagen and the elasticity behind it. But of course with age we lose that, and with age we lose our nutrition, we increase our malabsorption, so we're not absorbing our foods properly and getting what we need from them due to different problems, most commonly like stress. When we are stressed, we don't digest properly because our body's going into that fight, flight, freeze, nervous system irregulation. Also, people don't chew properly, people are wolfing down their food, people are eating too many food groups at the same time, and basically not incorporating mindfulness eating practices. And this, of course, shapes and shows. And then the most common one is people not exercising as well to maintain their physical body and to shed old cells. So this is where, for me as a practitioner, so there's lots of schools of thought about, should we take supplements? You know, are there too many supplements? But I'm a very big fan of supplementation, because that's the key word, supplementing. So adding it to your diet to really support and boost your diet, because, and this is not just me, of course, it's my opinion, but it's very, it's factual, actually, about how polluted our environment is. If we think about all the sources in which we need to thrive at optimal levels as a human, all of our resources are compromised. Water, if you think about tap water and what the processes it goes through and where it comes from, not really healthy. Pollution levels that we're inhaling. So the skin, our biggest organ of our bodies, and just inhaling all these pollutants, especially if you're living in cities. So, of course, as much as possible, if you can support living out the city, then obviously that's much better. Then we're thinking about the food, right? Food that has insecticides, fungicides, pesticides. And you think, wow, like, who thought that was okay to put chemicals on our food? Down to our sleep levels, we're completely stressed, right? And even because we're living in progressively, as the world is going on, we're living in much, much smaller places. So we can hear and experience all our neighbors and sounds. And I don't know, in terms of in the UK, we can hear the tubes, we can hear the trains, we can hear people shouting outside. So there's a lot of disturbances to our sleep, the excessive caffeine intake that people are consuming, and the time or the last time of in the day that people are consuming caffeine. So I tell people not to, if you're going to drink caffeine, try not to have it past 12 or 1 p.m. because the effects of it are still in your body by nighttime. And I always use the analogy, would you have at least a quarter cup of coffee literally just before you go to bed? And people just sort of snarl and go, of course not, like almost arrogant, of course I wouldn't. And it's like, well, that is effectively what you're doing. You just don't have the awareness of what level or effect that is still within your body. And I am amazed at the people that literally do drink coffee and can go to bed. But yes, you can physically lie there as a zombified being, saying you're in bed and you're sleeping, but actually you're not getting into that deep, restful, non-REM sleep that will be supporting your body in the repair process. And of course, I would say that is one of the most important times and functions of our body, is to repair, so we can reset our machine. Anyway, side note. So coming back to silica or diatomaceous earth, one other common problem at the moment is also heavy metals and heavy metal detox. And one, I would say, very popular exposure is aluminium, because people either use antiperspirants and they're spraying it in their body. They're eating with cutlery or crockery aluminium. Most popular is aluminium foil when they're cooking. And the silica actually is really, really supporting in helping to get rid of aluminium toxicity. So if there's some form of heavy metal exposure, I would say this is also very good to have. And another really incredible one is it's also associated with supporting people with suffering with Alzheimer's as well as epilepsy. So, I think Alzheimer's is becoming just sort of like the new thing. I would say cancer at the moment is just like, who do you know that doesn't have you definitely know or have a handful of people that has either been alerted that they're at the beginning stages of cancer, or someone who's been affected with cancer. It's such a buzzword now. And again, coming back to all the couple of things I've just said about how our body is affected, and again, all the foods, GMO, etc., sleep, not drinking good water, not getting peaceful sleep, everything that's all affecting, that now will have these knock-on effects. So silica, again, can really help with Alzheimer's as well as epilepsy. And just going and repeating, so of course our tissue levels of silica in our body tend to decrease with age, this mineral, right? So we need to consider supporting it. So people are really big, like eat collagen. But you can also have silica as well to support that for your aging process. and for any structural weakness or disorder that requires tissue repair, right? And that could be quite good as well, I think, from if you have some operations or something like that, or you tear something in your body from, I don't know, an accident or sporting injury. Really, really, really good. So silica, where is it found, right? So silica can be found within the fibrous tissues of plants, and where it gives it's basically where it gives the plants its structures, and you can find it in hard drinking water. So that is quite common in the UK. And if you want to know some food sources in which you can get silica from, or let's call it, if you want to try increase your dietary intake. And I do say for gut health, you need to at least explore having 30 different foods within your diet per week. So if you can see and maybe count, because not a lot of people actually reach that target. It's a very low percentage of people. So you got to keep your palate curious is the best way to say it. I can definitely guarantee with a fact that variety of foods is really going to create longevity. So a couple of foods, maybe you don't eat any of these, but hopefully you do, would include, so unrefined whole grains. We're thinking dark green leafy vegetables, alfalfa, bell peppers, soybeans, beetroot. Also a couple of other things, nettle, dandelion, comfrey, and horsetail contain good levels. So these are more like herbs or flowers. And you can also find it in seafood. You can find it in lettuce, cucumbers, avocados, onions, strawberries, and pectin in the pith of citrus fruits. And you can also find it in seaweed as well. So that is quite helpful, right? But now let's just go straight forward to Diatomaceous Earth. I'm just going to quickly get the packet, so give me 1 second. So I have my packet over here. So now Diatomaceous Earth is basically pure fresh water diatoms, and it is derived from the ancient amorphous silica. So this is a brand that I use, which is innovative naturopathic. So you can get it on Amazon. I love Amazon because you can get everything on Amazon. And what this is it's very rich in trace minerals. So it's just naturally supportive for detoxification of all forms, which in this case I'm referencing to gut health. And you can use it for many, many other things. But of course, what you want to ensure when you do buy it, you want a food grade, so fit for human consumption. And how one consumes it, it's just basically a tablespoon in about 200 mils of purified water, so no tap water, please. Or you can use fruit juice because it's not very nice tasting. And you do it once daily. But you don't want to do it for every day for the rest of your life, but you sort of want to be looking at it when you're doing some periods of detox. And the key thing is to take it on an empty stomach about 30 minutes or so before food. And what does it do? So it's really, I think it's like basically playing the plumber into your gut, right? So it is kind of like a clay-like substance. And what it will do when you consume it, it will go through the walls and it will bind unhealthy things to it. And when I say unhealthy things, I'm talking bacteria, I'm talking parasites, anything. So as I was saying earlier, you might have little microfecal matters stuck in the pockets of your intestinal wall just sitting there. And I think to date, I haven't found really anything much better or as effective as colonic hydrotherapy that can help really get rid of those. But in support, in combination with colonic hydrotherapy, you can take these, you can take diatomaceous earth with it, and then you can do big flushing as well with colonic hydrotherapy, so that you can get those little micro bits out that is rotting and creating this distension or bloating and gas in your belly. Right. So if you want to look at, I'm going to summarize it down to 4 really good things that diatomaceous earth can help improve with your gut health. So let's see. For glowing gut health, right, this is a substance that is gaining a lot of popularity in the best way said, and it's quite an innovative ingredient from Mother Earth. And I mean, the beauty is it's always been there, and yet people don't really know about it, hence this podcast. And as I said, it can be used for many reasons. And the first one I discovered this product about is if there's ants in your house and you want to get rid of them without killing them, somehow they don't seem to like this product. So if you sort of sprinkle it around where they sort of coming in through the door, this is where it will help get them away without killing them, because obviously you don't want to kill other nature beings. And so again, for the purpose of this, I'm just going to focus on the amazing effects that it can create for gut health and excessive bloating, because there's I would say a huge pandemic of people that just come in, and no matter what they do health-wise, they just always seem to bloat. So just coming back in again, because I had this little written paper prepared about what Diatomaceous Earth is. So Diatomaceous Earth is made of single-celled, honeycomb-structured algae organisms with silicone exoskeletons called diatoms. It's basically a type of algae mineral that is rich in silica. This aquatic superfood has some clever actions to clear your gut of bad juju and enabled good stuff to proliferate. So food grade may help improve your gut health in the following ways. Detoxifies, cleanses the intestinal walls and digestive tract, kills parasites and bugs, increases mineral absorption, reduces gas and bloating. And now who doesn't want that? And the next part as well. It's also a very helpful ingredient for stimulating collagen and bone strength, and so helps with strong hair, nails, bones, and skin. In its food grade form, it comes in a fine white powder that is easy to digest and absorb. Because it's rich in silica, it is providing the body with one of the compounds that, along with oxygen and carbon, is essential for all life. As we know, the gut is the seat of human health, and immunity is generated there. So there's about 70% of your immune system based in your gut. So when you improve your gut, you improve your immune system, and you almost never get sick. And you can really fight off a lot of problems. And the most prevalent one at the moment is COVID and keeping your immune system strong. Right. So it makes sense that gut health products, cleansing and protective substance would help to stimulate the immune system, right? So this is a really good one in supporting that. But if everyone's customized for their needs and immune system support. So again, come to me and then we can talk about what you need, because I do customized work rather than generic work. So the next question that people ask is, how does Diatomaceous Earth work? So as I've said, it's a fine white powder, and because of its microscopic honeycomb structure, it gently sloughs away toxins, bacteria, parasites from your gut. It literally makes microscopic cuts through the bodies of parasites, but it is gentle and safe for the human body. So don't get confused with that. It also contains a strong negative charge, which allows it to mop up and eliminate toxins, parasites, fungi, as it moves through the digestive tract. So let's have a closer look at the specific benefits. So here are the 4 ways that it can support you. So as I said, detoxification. So using this wonder powder, it's a much simpler and less time-consuming way to detox than other expensive plans. So silica can work in a similar fashion to antioxidants by scavenging free radicals. It acts as a detoxifier for the blood due to its negative charge, which soaks up free radicals and toxins. You can also do a heavy metal detox with this, as it can eliminate aluminium from the gastrointestinal tract, so the GI tract. It cleans the GI tract of toxins, and other nasties are absorbed by the diatomaceous earth and they are eliminated, right? So a lot of the times people go on these crazy detoxes, they eliminate all the different toxins throughout their body, but then they have let's call it poor gut health, so slow transit time, so they can't effectively eliminate, and then these toxins just swim somewhere else in the body and then reattack. And this is why I believe that people commonly get colds and flus and anything after they do a detox. It's just because they didn't add gut health support on the side. And whether that's a couple of supplements like this or binders, and colonic hydrotherapy into the mix, just to obviously prevent the reabsorption of these toxins that were leached or stuck in a different organ or part of the body through anywhere else in the body. So as it detoxifies, it also infuses your body with rich minerals. So this is what I love. So it's getting rid of the bad, and it's also giving you good as well. So, and a couple of things that it does support in providing is calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc. So these are amazing 4 key components for anyone's health. So everyone needs good structure, so good bone health to support their posture, especially as we get older. So bone health really does decrease and decline, and especially more prevalent in women. Hence why we're getting osteoporosis and arthritic conditions left, right, and center now, because we're not feeding our bones. Magnesium is a staple, absolute must. Good for brain health, cognitive function. It's good for reducing stress levels in the body or cortisol, so that people can help themselves sleep a lot better. So it's really good for supporting sleep. Iron we need to support blood functionality and, you know, different levels of cardiovascular, and also help us with having strength in our body. And zinc really good for immune system, skin as well. And I recommend it as a staple as well when we do and nutritional recommendations at the clinic. So if anything else, I think it's a pretty good way to kickstart any wellness journey, and it's a very easy detox, so hence why I recommend it. The second thing, it's an exciting alternative for killing parasites and bugs. So of course, I'm like parasite central. I see parasites all the time because of the nature of my work. So I obviously have a parasite protocol, but of course, anything else to support once you've finished your protocol, because you don't need to be on these quite intensive supplements that are really acting as killers. So just obviously, let's call it a top up or just extra support post protocol, because sometimes the parasites come back, and that's because they're really tricky and they want to stay. Their whole purpose is basically to take over the host and live in a thriving environment. So they're going to do everything in their will and power to stay. So we need to create every possibility for them not to be able to do that, right? And I think because of the lack of awareness and understanding around gut health and the ultra-processed foods we're eating and the poor food hygiene we're experiencing, it's becoming a lot more common in the West specifically as well, and some developing worlds, that parasite and bugs are just very, very popular now. So it's almost, again, sort of like the cancer word is like, who doesn't have parasites? We all have bacteria, we all have like microbes, and maybe not even microscopic parasites, but some are obviously for good reasons. But when we're talking about the bad ones, the bad guys, we obviously want to ensure that they're not in your body, ridding you and stealing of all your nutrients and your energy levels and making you sick, and basically trying to, in the best way, harm you and kill you. So, you know, if you suspect or worry, it's very easy for me to identify and see through colonic hydrotherapy parasites, and of course you can also do poo samples and stool samples to check as well. So there's many species, so it's quite an interesting subject on its own. And as well, the reason why some think that parasites are becoming a lot more common, which is quite interesting, maybe as a result of global warming, and with climate change it's making parasites much easier for them to proliferate and take over. So the most common parasites are intestinal worms, and it's not only in humans, it's also in animals and pets. Yes, so I would say, again, the most common parasites are intestinal worms. I'm losing my voice for some strange reason. Maybe I'm talking too much. But some lesser known ones are the protozoan parasites. And these are hard to treat because they hide in the folds of the bowels. So as I was saying, those pockets, and they are resistant to the frontline antibiotic treatment usually used for parasites. So this is a problem now. So what I don't like about the doctors is they go, ooh, parasites, and then just throw an antibiotic at you. But not all antibiotics kill parasites, hence why you become very unwell. And then, of course, all the antibiotics ruin other things like the lining of your stomach and also create harshness on your liver, so your immune system drops as well. But actually, specific parasites need to be killed with specific protocols, so it's not just a one size fits all, and most people don't know that. And then that's where, again, with my work, I see a lot of people have been on multiple courses of antibiotics, damaging the immune system and their health and their energy levels, and still having to fight off these parasites. And obviously it's giving them an advantage because they can fight or take over the host a lot easier now because the resistance is not there as much, right? So now, parasites can cause a lot of symptoms, but I would say the most commonly experienced one that people relate to is the condition called IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome. And rather than, for me, I don't believe that this is an actual condition. I just think it's a group of symptoms that people can't seem to explain what's wrong, and they just want to give it a title. So don't take it from me that this is a condition. It's just a group of symptoms. And when you read all the symptoms, they are also quite contradictory as well, right? So it's just, if you have unexplained gut health problems that no one can really tell you why, then this is the category for you. But I also don't want you, in terms of mindset and belief system imprinting, say to yourself, oh, I have IBS, and then you validate it and you can live with your symptoms. It will justify your symptoms. Rather, you go, okay, I've got something going on here. No one really knows what it is. They're giving me this generic grouping of title, but actually maybe it might be parasites, right? So how can I say it? So in order to treat properly, a lot of people use heavy duty antibiotics, and sometimes people use more than 3 courses. But again, it really harms your environment, your gut, your GI tract. And then the problem with antibiotics as well is that it does kill everything. It's not just killing bad bacteria, it's killing all your bacteria, including the good bacteria. And this, again, like I said, is just making your environment less and less resistant to supporting you and protecting you, and especially from parasites. So these drugs can bomb up the parasites. They can make you feel nauseous. But again, if we come back to Diatomaceous Earth, you could probably just do this, right? It's really, really good. So you can consume this. It doesn't make you feel sick or nauseous or anything like that. But it can really support getting rid of different types of things like protozoa parasites, bacteria, toxins, fungi, viruses, heavy metals, and effectively eliminates them. And you can support it with adding colonic hydrotherapy into the mix. And as I said earlier, it cuts up the parasites, so it renders them dead and gone. So it doesn't really leave the risk of them being able to respawn, if you will. So if you take diatomaceous earth instead of antibiotics, this will make your bowel a much healthier place, and also healthier environment that is less likely to be reinfected. And as I said, so if you know for sure you have parasites, of course you'll need to take it a little bit longer than the average person just doing an average week of just typical detox elimination, right? Just sort of a maintenance rather than an actual protocol. The third thing that it does support is waste elimination. So a lot of people go to the toilet. Maybe I always say, does your input match your output? And often the answer is no. So you got to think about how much you're just being a little bit more aware and mindful. If you think I'm putting in, let's just use for just an analogy, 1 kilogram in, maybe you should be looking at least 800 grams out. But most people are putting 1 kilogram in and they may be putting 200 grams out. So you think, where the hell is all of that other stuff going? And they're like, but I do go to the toilet. I am regular. Yes, but you are regular-ish is probably the best way to sum it up. So you're going, but you're not going effectively or enough. And all these different reasons as to why I can't answer over this podcast because it's subject to case-by-case basis. But what this Diatomaceous Earth product will help support is with waste elimination. It's kind of like the best way is like a clay-like substance that you're drinking. and it will help create more of like fibrous, it is fibrous, so it's going to create more of a fiber-like environment, and then it will make your stool a lot more solid and will bind to all the other things as well that may be inhibiting your GI tract and your GI tract transit time to be processing a lot more effectively. So it just helps you to excrete a lot more, so you can alleviate your bowel, and this can also increase your chances of reducing or alleviating constipation, right? But most important, it also helps you to stay hydrated, because it's very powerful what silica can do. And this is also the next common pandemic, is what I call it chronic dehydration. A lot of people are very, very, very thirsty because they're not supporting their environment enough with our main fuel, which is water. And even if you are drinking water, you're drinking the right kind of water, purified, filtered water, rather than just tap. Right. And the last one I would say for the big pro that this supplement or product can provide for is helping to support gas and bloating. So once your digestive system is detoxified using the diatomaceous earth, it can free your body from the bad bacteria that's causing the bloating and the gas issues. So it will also, and this is a good one in terms of dietary, reduce your cravings for carbs and sugar, which also contributes to your bloating issues. And hence, you can actually lose weight as a result of this product. So not that that's a have to, but it's a good side, right? I always say priority is health. Secondary benefits, if weight loss or support in that regard comes with it, that's just a great bonus. So I've spoken a lot today, but in summary, diatomaceous earth is really good. It's really, really, really good. It's a natural substance. It is from the earth, and it has a lot of benefits in general, but more specifically for the purpose of this conversation or podcast, it is really, really good for gut health. So I first of all would say, is it good for you? For sure, because it will help with all the other main things with detoxification as well as enriching, which I love. Is like, I like things in terms of detox. I always think of stripping away, and then you'll need to replenish after with different whatever it is that you will need specifically for your case history. But I like this because it's stripping away as well as boosting at the same time. So it's a 2-in-1, which is really, really which is really, really helpful and really supporting. It's not an expensive product. It does last a long time. It goes a long way. So you can buy a bag, and then you can, get your whole family on it, because I think that's really helpful and friendly, because obviously if you have problems, I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of your family does too, just simply as a result you're following the same lifestyle habits, routines, and consuming the same foods predominantly. So it's really good for an all-around cleaner. I would say obviously for children, if you're going to introduce it to them, just being mindful about quantity, because you want to reduce quantity as well, because what adults can consume is a lot more than what a child can. And I would say that would be a good place to wrap up from there. You can obviously tell I can talk a lot more about it, but I think this is enough information to know that this is a good product to consider putting into your, what I call inverted commas, your home pharmacy. And just sort of bringing it out from time to time. And of course, if you're someone with parasites or extreme cases of problems such as gas, bloating, constipation, waste elimination issues, of course, it'll be really, really vital to come into the clinic. And then I can do an appointment with you and assess your gut health, give you lifestyle recommendations, tips, information. I'll then tell you what nutrition and let's call it nutritional support you'll need. We can look at doing blood tests to check out what allergies and intolerances towards foods you should be avoiding to support your gut health and reduce inflammatory causing foods as well in your body. And then a couple of or a handful of colonics, and I think that would really get you good to go. And you don't have to be living with your symptoms anymore. So I think people are sort of just now comfortable with like, everyone has gas and bloating, everyone can have parasites, everyone is tired, everyone can get sick, everyone's immunity is compromised. No, that's not the case. That's just you validating or justifying that it's okay if other people have the problems, but it doesn't mean you have to live with it. Like anything in life, if you seek out an expert or someone who can support you, with coaching you into something better, and depending on subject area, but in this case into better wellness and health and energy. It is all possible, but you need to dedicate and invest in it. So investing your energy, investing your dedication of time to keep your habits and new routines, as well as changing your habits and routines, and as well as investing in a coach who will help support you into better wellness as well. Right. So that's all from me today. So if you'd like to know a little bit more and see if this actually is good for you, you can book in an appointment, or if you're curious about just getting better gut health, you can book an appointment. And it's called the Star Freud Wellness Clinic. We're based in central London in Monument. And there is a website, and it's all here linked below in the podcast information. But if you have any questions, comments, or even amazing stories that you've had as a result of taking this product, it will be great to share, because the more we create a platform for education and knowledge, the more then we can provide evidence to those to prove that actually, yes, you should definitely take this. This is a goodie. This one we give a thumbs up to. All right. So over and out from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, a like, a 5-star, whatever it is that you need to do, just to try and help support more podcasts being able to be shared about this, especially surrounding gut health, which is now becoming a lot more mainstream and a lot more popular to be focused on. So hopefully this is just creating a little bit of education around that. So wishing you, wherever you are in the world, an amazing day or evening, and please log on in and tune in to the next episode. Bye.